Hi everyone, I'm Alex, the creator of Warcraft Recorder. I'm making this video to talk a little about the future of Warcraft Recorder and the Archon app. I've got some interesting information to share and I think users are going to like it, so let's jump right in. So back in March I shared that Warcraft Recorder is joining up with Warcraft Logs, and if you haven't seen this post I'll put a link in the video description. And I wanted to make this video because since then a lot has changed, but also a lot hasn't. And since I joined the company we've been making plans, but those plans are mostly behind the scenes, so I wanted to share some of those with you today. So let me answer the biggest question up front, because I do read Reddit comments even if I don't always reply to them, and I know a bunch of users of Warcraft Recorder are out there wondering when Warcraft Recorder is going to disappear and be folded into the Archon app. And the answer is that's not going to happen. We're planning to keep Warcraft Recorder and the Archon app separate and maintained. But the bit I'm really excited about here is the second part of the plan, which is to make the existing cloud video features of Warcraft Recorder and the future, yet to be released, cloud video features of the Archon app interoperable with each other. But before we get onto that, I hope you'll allow me this chance to indulge myself and take a trip down memory lane and talk a little bit about how far this project has come. Back in Shadowlands in 2021, I was playing WoW a lot. I was raiding in a hardcore guild, and at the same time, I was pushing for rank 1 in Arena. And it was about that time that Squad OV was first released. I really liked the function of Squad OV, and it also covered both raids and PvP, which was perfect for me. But there were a few parts of Squad OV that I didn't love. And primarily it was a cloud-first service, so that meant all my videos were getting uploaded to the cloud, and actually all I wanted was to store them locally. It was also always asking me to log in, which I found quite annoying. Admittedly, that's a very minor criticism of an otherwise great program. Back then I was working as a software engineer at Microsoft. Their annual hackathon was coming up, and I was surprised to see that there was a Cloud9 sponsored World of Warcraft hack that was on offer. So I signed up. But sadly, on the day of the hack, no one else showed up. It was just me. But regardless, I thought, I'll make a go of this, and I tried to build something that I wanted to use, which was effectively Squad OV without the cloud features. And I wish I had a better screenshot than this, but it was all on an old work computer, which I've since lost. But this was the early version of Warcraft Recorder before it was called Warcraft Recorder. It used a framework in Python called tkinter to provide the UI, and the recording was horrendously inefficient. And I made a little video of the hack and submitted it to Cloud9, but it was so basic that it wasn't going anywhere without significant effort. They did send me a pair of branded joggers and a water bottle though, which was nice. About a year of devoting my weekends to the project later, I had something that I felt was worth sharing. By this point I'd replaced the Python runtime with Electron, but more importantly I was using OBS to power the recording, which was leaps and bounds ahead of what I had before. And at this point I decided to open source the project, mostly because I'd seen other projects do the same, and I thought it was a cool idea. And that decision paid off pretty quick, and in September 2022 Mythic Plus support was merged. And another notable community submission was the UI revamp that came in 6.0.0. It looked like this, which is looking much closer to what Warcraft Recorder looks like today. Winding back slightly, my initial vision was for an entirely offline application. In fact, even today, Warcraft Recorder only uses the internet in two places unless you're using the cloud features. One is to check for updates, and the other is to try and pull up-to-date Mythic Plus timers. Neither are required. It was about this time that Squad OV folded, and there was an influx of users to Warcraft Recorder. I knew many of these users were missing the video sharing features of Squad OV. Of course, being a local-only application at the time meant that there were no servers, and I certainly needed servers to provide video sharing features. At this point, I was working as an engineer on the Azure platform, and through work I had some free Azure credits, so I got to building. But I quickly found that the Azure egress charges associated with streaming video out of Azure prevented me from providing this service at a reasonable cost. And so I did some looking around, and I found that Cloudflare were offering a storage platform with zero egress fees. And this is where the service is still running today. There's been too many additions to the cloud service and to the UI and the client to support it to talk about just now. But hopefully you agree that it's a useful service, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. And as of today, the Warcraft Recorder service is hosting more than 200 terabytes of video on behalf of more than 20,000 users across the world. So let's get on to the acquisition. Yax, who's the CTO of Warcraft Logs and Archon, and I had been raiding together for about 5 years at this point. We'd even met up a few times in real life at various guild meetups. I've moved the camera so you can see him, but this is us progressing for rank together. And naturally he was quite interested in Warcraft Recorder, given his job was maintaining and developing Warcraft Logs. And we'd also discussed that they really wanted to build video features on their platform. So we started talking about what an acquisition might look like. And we discussed for a long, long time. And about a year later, after we started talking about it, we'd come to terms that we were both happy to agree on. It's a big thing to leave a stable job to pursue a hobby project. But what really sold me on the idea was when I got to see a demo of the video features in the Archon app back when it was still in development. This screen was something I'd kind of dreamed about being able to build if I had infinite time. For me, this was a kind of, oh my god, this is what Warcraft Recorder is missing moment. So with that in mind, there are a few users that I want to make sure Warcraft Recorder caters for going forward. The first of these is the local user. I'm particularly sympathetic towards this user because this was me 5 years ago. This user wants to record their raids, their arena, their Mythic Plus entirely offline. The second of these is the pro user. They or someone in their guild has a subscription to the Warcraft Recorder Patreon, and they're using the pro features of Warcraft Recorder to aid their raiding progression. The final category of user is the power user. This user is already a pro user, but they want more out of the service. This is the user that the acquisition stands to benefit most. Warcraft Logs is obviously by far the leader in World of Warcraft analytics, and they've got over a decade of experience of doing that well. Having the power of those analytics at our fingertips combined with the video footage enables so many cool features that users have been asking me for years. It always felt bad that on my own I couldn't provide for these users, so I'm really excited to build something great here. So let's talk about the future. You might wonder why it's been so quiet since the acquisition announcement. Well, part of that was because I had a 3-month notice period to work at my previous job. So I've been working for Archon for just under 2 months now. It takes a long time to get ramped up into a new company and new code bases, but I'm having fun so far. Most of my time I've spent working on the Archon Cloud video features and how we're going to integrate with that with Warcraft Recorder. But I have also shipped some small features in the Archon app here and there. For example, these resizable panels. That was me. So I mentioned at the start of this video that the plan is to make Warcraft Recorder Pro and the Archon Cloud video feature interoperable. And the driver behind this is to give users the choice between which applications they want to use. If you're a Warcraft Recorder Pro user who's comfortable as they are and don't want to change, that's fine. But if you're a power user who's wanting more, you might want to check out the Archon app. This interoperability will also mean that two users within the same guild don't have to use the same application, but can still interact with videos in the same way and upload to the same shared video store. Now, building this interoperability is no easy challenge. Naturally, these are two entirely separate services built by different sets of people on different platforms with different technology and different preferences. But we've got a plan that will enable users to link their Warcraft Recorder account to Warcraft Logs to facilitate this. To be clear, this isn't available yet, and getting this stuff right takes time, so sit tight and we'll share more information when this is available. It's also worth mentioning here that we're planning to reuse the Warcraft Recorder Patreon to also provide for the Archon Cloud video features when it's available. You may see some branding changes here, but don't worry, it won't affect your existing subscriptions. Lastly, I don't want to give the impression that Warcraft Recorder won't see any new features. That's not the case, and in fact, I've got some to share just now that I've been working on recently. The first of these is something that people have been asking for a long time, which is the ability to filter your uploads by character. So you can now select a character from your most recent played characters in your local recordings, or enter one manually and it will filter the uploads to your guild. However, this is the one I'm most excited about. A slight change to the video container format that Warcraft Recorder uses means that video can now be played as it's being recorded. You no longer need to wait till the recording completes to view it. I'm calling this the instant replay feature, and the main use case I see for this is analysing Mythic Plus wipes mid-run. Before I finish, I want to say a heartfelt thanks to all the supporters of the Warcraft Recorder project over the years. A special thanks to those who have contributed code or reported bugs, but also to the users, be that paid or free. Your enthusiasm for the project is what's kept me motivated over the years. It's come a long way from a project that I nearly gave up on 5 years ago when no one showed up to the hackathon, to a project that I now work on full time, and the support from the community has made that possible. So, thank you, and I hope you like what's in store.